in our life, every single one of us, an attachment to things in this world. We might have many of them. For the past 3 weeks now, we've been hearing, especially from the Apostle Paul, that the Christian life, he says, is about sacrificing yourself, giving yourself completely over to the things of God, because that is the only way that we can have the gain that God has for us. And then he morphs immediately, Paul does, in verse 2, into saying that you cannot be conformed to this world. The word conformed, the con part of it means with, and formed means formed. You can't be fashioned after or formed with this world, because you will begin to develop attachments to the things of the world, and then those attachments are going to slowly, subtly keep you from completely giving yourself over to God. You're going to develop these attachments, and with white-knuckled hands, you're going to have a hold on them. But as we kind of saw with Kenny, what really happens is they have a hold on you. So Paul says, do not be conformed. You have to figure out what these attachments are, and then you have to let them go in order to make ourselves completely available to God. There's a man whose name was Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He was a pastor in Germany at the time of Hitler. And Bonhoeffer was put in prison, and eventually he was executed. But he wrote a book by the title of The Cost of Discipleship. And one of the first things he says in that book is, our first call as a Christian is to abandon the attachments to this world. And then he says, and this is maybe one of his most famous quotes from the book, he says, when Christ calls you, he bids you come and die. When we hear that, I would imagine that most of us automatically recoil and go, oh man, that's just too big. He's asking me to come and die? But I'm going to call you back to the message last week, where Jesus talked about dying, and he said, you are like this seed. And if this seed falls into the ground and dies, it doesn't remain a single seed, but it grows and develops new life and bears fruit 100-fold. But he said if that seed remains a single seed, then that's all it will ever be, a single seed. So Jesus said that dying is actually about gain. When he says that you need to come and die, it is dying to the things of this world, letting go of those attachments that have you and keep you from giving yourself completely to God. Because when you die, in Jesus' sense of the word, it's all about new life, and it's about growth, and it's about bearing fruit 100-fold. And Paul ended Romans 12, verse 1, by saying, this is your spiritual worship. Remember what that meant? He said, this is the smartest thing you will ever do, is give yourself completely over to God. Now, we've spent about 3 weeks starting on